Yeah, just Europa League takes in general.
Okay, yeah, I can do that. Do you want me to go first or second?
I'm gonna go first. Can you hear anything in the background?
No, I don't hear. All I hear is your voice. You're in like a
Awesome.
nice little area there.
Yeah, we are. It's in the journalism school.
Yeah,
It's a
that's
nice
cool.
place, but it is very loud in the bubble. Do you hear that? Fucking hooligans.
But yeah,
Yeah.
why don't you guys go first, and then I'll tear everything down and give you the truth instead of fan bias.
Edit that in there. And we're now joined in by Alex Murphy, fellow Arsenal fan. Hi, Alex.
How's it going?
Now, Alex, we've been talking about Europa League a little bit. Unfortunately, during the recording of this episode, Arsenal game has been delayed due to some German hooligans in the Emirates. But
Yeah.
hey, let's talk some Europa League with Arsenal here.
Okay.
What do you think their chances are at going all the way?
Well, I mean, considering the other teams that are in the Europa League, just the quality and talent of teams that play there compared to the Champions League, I think we have a good shot. I mean, we are one of the better teams in England, though last season's results did not show that. But I do think that out of the teams that are currently there, we have one of the best chances, if not the best chance, to go all the way.
Best chance. Hear that, Dill?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point to make. Arsenal's a talented squad. No one's doubting that. They play in the Premier League. They're one of the richest in the Europa League. No one's doubting that. However, I think making a prediction on the Europa League at this stage is foolish because we don't yet know how the Champions League will shake out. And as everyone knows, the third place teams in Champions League groups will drop down. Now, the quality of those teams might not be the greatest, but there could be a few surprises, a couple shock teams that bump down, specifically in a group of death scenario. You'll get kind of another favorite for the Europa League. But I also want to say that doesn't discount Arsenal from the off. United, as the season kind of shook out for them last year, quickly realized that the best chance for them back into the Champions League was through the Europa League. So there's kind of the blueprint right there. I mean, I think history can repeat itself with Arsenal. I think they can be positive about that, but it'll be up to management as for what they prioritize first: top four of the Premier League as route one, or winning the Europa League.
Yeah, Dylan, that's exactly what me and Alex were talking about before the show, and we fundamentally disagree of what course of action Arsene Wenger and company should do. So, Alex, I'll let you take your side first, and I'll give my takes.
Okay. So personally, I think that the only way that we are going to get into the Champions League next year is by winning the Europa League. I think that the teams around us in the Premier League have gotten much stronger. I guess notably City, United, even Everton, Tottenham.
Bad take.
Tottenham to an extent. Somewhat Chelsea. So and Liverpool. So there's a lot of teams around us that are as good, if not better, than we are. So trying to get that top four finish is going to be tough. So definitely for me, I think that the way that we are going to get into the Champions League next year is going to be through winning the Europa League.
And that's just what I disagree with. Although you were wrong how good Everton is, because they just look awful right now with how slow that team is. And I think they're losing right now in the Europa League.
They got crushed. They lost 3-0.
Oh,
they lost 3-0 to.
Oh, well, I thought that they made good additions in the offseason. I'm not saying that.
Yeah, so did we. Me and Dylan have praised them from the onset of this podcast, and hey, guess what? They are not that good.
Oh.
Except my boy Gylfi.
That's true.
But listen, hey, Europa League should be a joke. We shouldn't take it seriously. We have to play our. Me and Dylan talked about this last podcast and disagreed of how Arsene Wenger should go about this competition. I don't think he will go my course of action, which I want, like Alex Iwobi to develop. I want some younger players, get Zelalem, the young American, some playing time, like first team action for the first time. Hopefully, a lot of young players that can show promise. And Europa League is the competition to do it, in my opinion. I don't think, and the reason I think that is because the scheduling complications with playing on Thursday nights in some ungodly part of Europe and traveling back to England to play some of England's best teams is just too hard. For example, this very week, even though we are home in London, we do have the London Derby against Chelsea upcoming, which is a huge match. We have to prepare for it, and that's going to reflect in the team sheet today. I don't know exactly who's going to play, but I wish it was some youngsters.
I can check that to see.
So let me ask you then, why discount the Europa League as a way back to the Champions League if you're so kind of anxious about the Premier League?
Because I want to focus more energy on the Premier League.
Right. So I'm just going to go ahead and say you don't have to decide right now. So you can do exactly what Mourinho did, and this is kind of what I was hinting at earlier. Was United waited to see?
Oh yeah, I mean I agree with that. And the team sheet that we just pulled up, we got Ospina, Holding, Mertesacker, Monreal, Bellerin, Iwobi, one of my favorite players, Elneny, Maitland-Niles, speedster.
Oh, Maitland-Niles, you should be excited about him. Good academy product there.
Walcott, Alexis, and Giroud. I'm completely in favor of that lineup. I don't care. They're playing the bottom team in Bundesliga in Cologne, so they don't need to play all their stars. Get Alexis out of there after like halftime. Get Wilshere maybe some playing time after like 7 million years in the academy. So, but yeah, to answer your question, with those Champions League teams coming back down to Europa League, like finishing in third place in the group stages, maybe like we get a tough draw. We seem to always get a tough draw in Europe coming out of the round of 16. And I don't see Europa League being any different. So I think we should focus more of our efforts on the Premier League because, hey, it's much more important in my eyes.
I mean, it's definitely an interesting conversation to have. I just don't agree with you.
I mean, I think that they're equally important. I just think that, especially with the Europa League, I just think that we need to put a lot of interest into it, just like we did the Champions League. While it's not the same caliber of teams, it's still important because it's European football, and if we want to stay in European football, then we have to be successful, even in the B, like the Champions League B.
Oh, definitely the B League for European soccer, but I don't know. I just don't like the competition. I don't think it's worth all the hardships of traveling abroad and like that scheduling difficulties with the Thursday night games going back and playing Sunday nights. So that's my take. We may disagree, but hey, Arsene Wenger, I support your lineup today, and hopefully we get a result.
Still here for another 2 years.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll get into that later with how I disagree with that. But on to MLS, the main topic with Big Al, Alex Murphy here, joining us in the studio. Alex, first off the bat, I want to ask you, it's not one of America's favorite sports, soccer.
No, not even close. I mean, it is the popularity of soccer in America has grown exponentially since we hosted the World Cup in '94. So I think that that's a good thing, especially with the creation of the MLS. So,
and a lot of these old timers are saying, "Hey, people have been telling me the last 40 years that soccer is going to grow into this national sport, and it hasn't. But hey, I think they're wrong. What do you think?"
I think that the potential for soccer in the United States is like beyond anything that we can comprehend right now. I think that if we do the right things when it comes to like development of younger players in academies starting out, kids playing soccer, having more kids playing soccer, developing up through there, I think that we have a really, really good chance of becoming I mean, not like a predominant soccer nation, but becoming a lot better than we are currently. I mean, the national team right now, while it's not the greatest team in the world, I think it's one of the best products that we've put out in a while. So, I mean, there's a lot of potential. It just depends on how we choose to use said potential and if we squander it or if we take advantage of it.
And a very good example in my eyes of not necessarily the youth system growing up, but expansion in the MLS is Atlanta United.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was just looking it up because I was curious. I mean, if I guess, for example, yesterday they played the New England Revolution. They won 7-0, which is ridiculous beyond any standard, not only for the MLS, but just in general. And they've been averaging – they are on pace to set the MLS record for highest match attendance for home games. This year, they're averaging like 45,000 fans a game, which is ridiculous. And they have a chance of setting the all-time record for like single game attendance in like a week or two. So, I mean that in itself shows that putting expansion teams in the MLS, like people support soccer in the United States, and it's not just something that is like the sport is exponentially growing, and that's just one example of it.
Yeah, I think we saw the same thing happen a couple years ago with Portland. Fans came out to show every week when they had a home game, especially against those Seattle Sounders. What a great rivalry that's become. And it really gives me confidence, Alex, in the higher-ups in MLS, deciding what parts of the country we want to expand to, and I hope they continue that trend. But moving on to more league happenings, Toronto leading the league in points.
Yes, yeah.
No surprise there. Do you think they're legit this year, and could they choke again?
I think that they're very good. I mean, they've basically put out the same product that they had last year. Some like pluses and minuses here and there. But I mean, right now when it comes to points, they have the most points in all of MLS with 59 in 28 games. So, I mean, right now they're averaging over 2 points a game when it comes. I mean, if you like average everything out, I mean, they're legit beyond anything. I mean, Josie Altidore is a monster. Sebastian Giovinco is like the greatest free kick taker in MLS history. Michael Bradley's still doing bits in the midfield, depending on whether he's hurt right now. I mean, they have a lot of potential to do a lot of good things in the playoffs and then to get to the MLS Cup final.
Yeah, and without Clint Dempsey last year in the finals, they really should have beat Seattle in my eyes.
I mean, watching that game was crazy to watch. I mean, I think
they had a good amount of chances to win that.
I mean, both teams had a lot of great chances. It was a huge back and forth contest, and the weather didn't make it any better because it was like sub-freezing, below freezing temperatures. I mean, they ended up getting a little bit unlucky with the penalties at the end, but I mean, I do agree with you in a sense that they had a lot of chances to win, and they probably should have taken advantage of those chances. But I just think in general, I mean,
they're the team to beat.
Yeah. Right now in the MLS, they are the team to beat.
Yeah, and it'd be a surprise to me if they don't choke. We've seen them choke in the playoffs a number of years now. But what has been surprising, Alex, is the LA Galaxy this season. Struggling mightily in the Western Conference.
Bad. They've
got quite a few high-paid players and high-key names on that team.
Yeah, I mean, they have Giovanni Dos Santos. They have Guazi Zardes, who's a bright young American, homegrown talent. I mean, they had a lot of potential coming into the year. They've kind of squandered it pretty badly. I mean, they've been like a perennial playoff team, if not MLS Cup contender for the last, I would say since the inception of the MLS, give or take a few years in between. So I think it's really, really surprising that they've done so bad. I mean, right now they're ninth in the in the Western Conference with only 27 points. So yeah, it's. I mean, honestly, there's really no way unless they win every game outright for the rest of the year, or if they basically they don't drop any. They go undefeated for the rest of the year. I mean, there's really no way that they're going to make the playoffs, which is kind of surprising considering that they've been such a perennial talent and they've been such a perennially good team.
Yeah, puzzling performances for sure. I know, Dylan, you're probably surprised too if you're still awake over there.
Oh, yeah, totally surprised.
But moving on from team-related stuff to more individual concerns, MVP predictions. Quite a few players have had stellar seasons. The usual David Villas and Sebastian Giovinco's of the league, tearing it up against inferior defenders. But really, in my eyes, it belongs to Diego Valeri so far. And do you think he's that good that he's been showing so far? His record tying seventh game in a row that he's scored a goal.
I mean, that's ridiculous in itself. And he more or less is the captain of Portland. And so, I mean, he is more than, or he has been much more than capable of filling his role as being the captain of the team, being the leader of the team. He's played extremely well this year. I mean, right now he's second in the league with 17 goals, trailing only David Villa, who's got 19. I mean, he's played really, really well. He's played really, really well over the past few years. I mean, he's definitely one of the candidates for MVP. I don't know if he's the candidate for MVP just because of Giovinco and David Villa having better seasons in terms of their teams and where they're placing. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he pulls it out in the end.
Yeah, it's really interesting how he's really taken the team over from Darlington Nagbe in my eyes. Nagbe with his commitments to the national team and a couple of knocks here and there. But hey, that's all we got for the MLS segment of the day. Thanks for coming on, Alex. And any last words?
Arsenal's garbage. That's about it.
Always optimistic about the Gunners here on the Soccer Soup podcast. That was Alex Murphy. Thanks, Alex, for joining us.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, we'll break there for a sec.
All right, I'm going to go get a water real quick, Kev.
All right.
Cool. We still haven't started yet. This is garbage. Dude, their fans are terrible.
Don's going to get I'm going to go to the bathroom.
All right. Am I good to go?
Yeah.
Sweet.
You are done.
That was fun. I got to talk about Arsenal's garbage. I didn't mention the Union at all. Thank the Lord. I would have just gone off on a tangent. I'd be like, "We are garbage. We're terrible. We're not going to." Yeah. Well, I mean, how else am I going to end off? Who knows if we're going to finish above Tottenham ever again? I mean, that it will happen.
That's a scary thought.
That is a scary thought. We did have.
All right, I'll be in here, guys. Can you hear me?
No. I mean,
You stopped recording. He had the guest on and he's walking him out or whatever.
All right, Dillman, you there?
Yo, dude.
I know.
Yo, do you have your phone? You have your phone?
Yeah.
All right, I gotta send you some text.
Phone just froze. Yeah, we're not. I'll text it to you because he's still out there later. But what time do you have to leave?
Let's try to wrap it up by like 4:30, 4:40.
All right.
Plenty of
Segment
time,
ideas. Do you see what I'm trying to do with that?
What do you mean?
See how I have like reoccurring segment ideas like idiot of the week, petty moves of the week,
Right.
tidy teams. I like that because like you kept saying this team's tidy.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
But we can start with Champions League talk. Then Europa League, going to transition to the Alex interview, and then do segments.
Word. Hey, Kev, I gotta ask you something. Have you thought about like going back and editing out your ums? Not the natural ums, like where you're like you know, the ones where you're like and then there's a pause, and it kind of takes up like a second or two.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I've done it a couple episodes.
Because I went to the radio station the other day and they were taught me all about editing. I had honestly never thought about just cutting out ums like that and like dead space.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
The podcast we just did, the three of us, was a lot better. Like it was a lot more fluent.
What, with me, you, and Alex?
No, with me, Noah, and Ryan.
Oh, word.
Just check it out. If you ever get Twitter back.
Well, no, but
I'll send you a link maybe.
sounds good, my dude. Yo, it seems like Maddie had a good time with Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about it too much yet.
Yeah, I called him. He seems like he's doing well.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What do you say?
He just said it was he couldn't even describe it. He was so excited.
Lit.
Yeah.
So hot in here, dude. I don't know why I have a long sleeve shirt on.
Probably because you're a frat douchebag.
Where are you?
My room.
Let me see it.
Hey.
What's going on? Do you like it? Is Ryan there? Hey.
It's pretty gross, isn't he?
Yeah, tell him to put on a shirt.
Kev says put a shirt on. Kev said put a shirt on. Gross ass. It's going well. Today I went to go like brush my teeth and stuff, and I left my phone in the room. I forgot to turn my alarms off. So
Ryan is pissed.
yeah, Ryan was a little grumpy about that. But yeah, anytime you want to get going is good.
What kind of freak are you that you wake up before the alarm goes off?
No, like I have like an hour worth of alarms set.
In case you don't wake up.
Yeah, in case I don't wake up.
That's a freak. But I do, so we're going to talk about Champions League, Europa League, and then I'll transition in and out of the MLS segment, and then segments We still have Premier League to talk about and other European leagues.
Okay, yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, but I want like a couple segment ideas from that.
What do you mean?
Like, I don't think this is very like. Is this in order? Like down here? No, it's not. Maybe I'll put tidy teams up front. Do you have your petty move of the week? I assumed you were going to go with Klopp or something.
What? Why would I go with Klopp? I'm going with that bastard on Sevilla.
Right, that game. Then like,
I don't even know
Not
his
mad at
name.
the
That's how
end of
much of a fucking nobody he is.
and then I'm going to go with Mourinho not shaking Mark Hughes' hand, but shaking all the assistants on the bench.
Yeah.
What else happened? And then I guess we can just recap. Oh, and then to end the show, so yesterday we did MLB with the Friends cast because that's their favorite show and they love the MLB. So I wanted to do the Office cast of like Premier League characters or something.
I don't know about that, dude.
So create your cast now. That's how we're gonna.
What? No. What, dude? Too soon. Too soon. Let's do it next week or something.
No, that's how we're ending the show. I don't have mine yet either.
All right. Well, then we got to keep it tight when we're talking,
Why?
because we're only gonna have like less than a half hour to go through all this stuff.
What, to go have dinner at 4:30? What are you, like an 80-year-old grandpa?
Listen, I have obligations.
Oh.
All right.
Office cast.
This is why you should have come to UD, Kevin. You want to meet more stupid Arsenal fans.
Shit, I'll write my phone. Yeah, the two Arsenal fans I've met are kind of stupid.
Like, Kevin, I don't think this works. I don't think this is a good idea.
Why?
Because these characters are very specific. We don't know enough about these people to pigeonhole them like this.
That's why it's funny. You just have to like say your reasoning, no matter how outlandish it is. For Toby, I'm just gonna pick whoever I hate the most. Which, spoiler alert, is Mourinho. Klopp, I might do. Should we just do managers? Because that's kind of easier.
I'm doing teams, players,
Okay.
managers.
Yeah, I meant to tell this to you earlier. My bad.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up, Kev.
Dude, I have a lot of stuff going on. So
How's your day?
busy. How's yours?
I don't know. I'm just waiting for Ryan to get out of here. Huh? No, I was just kidding, dude. It's all right. Hey, buddy. What are you doing? Playing Madden Mobile? Who's an overweight coach?
All right, so the order we're gonna do it is Michael Scott, Jim,
No, just
Yeah.
just pick people that are like that you think are funny and pertinent, and then we can compare. We don't have to do it in like an order. I mean, obviously we start with Michael, but from there, I'll just kind of go with the flow.
I can't think of a good Michael.
Oh, I have a pretty great Michael.
I can't wait to hear.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can't wait to hear. Let's get going then.
I need to think more.
Jesus Christ. It's moments like these where I realize that I'm totally validated in not having any religion. You know? Because there is no hope for anything ever going right.
Jesus, dude. Christ.
Kevin got really offended by that. Yeah.
That was just absurd.
Fucking like Alicia, nobody cares. You know? Like I'm starting to realize nobody cares about your Snapchat story. I don't know, some stupid
How many characters do you have, dude?
I don't know, like 7 or 8.
And you matched them already?
And what?
And you gave them players already?
Yeah, I have 2, 4, 6, 7.
Jeez.
You need me to have some more, big guy?
Who did you put for Michael Scott?
Mourinho.
Jesus Christ. It's going to go off.
Why?
Oh, you already have it up on the screen. Who's Charles?
The black guy.
Who?
Remember the black guy that comes into the office?
Oh. What?
Dude, I'm going to get stoned tomorrow. You know that? You better get ready for that, big guy. You listening? Yeah. No. It's gonna be bad.
Fuck.
Take your time, Kev. We're not on a schedule here.
I don't know why I'm blanking.
Well, you could just let me lead it if you want.
I could. He's like a wild card in the Premier League.
I don't know.
All right, we're starting at 4:10. If not done by then fuck it.
Look at this.
Huh?
And that was before there's still 10 hours left. I ended up with 500 million out the window. You know how I be. All right, Kev, it's 4:10.
It's 4:09.
Kevin, seriously, come on, dude.
Yeah, I'm not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
You're someone that doesn't do anything. Fuck. I'm so mad.
It's all right. We don't have to. We can do this segment next week, big guy. It's okay.
Yeah, but I wanted something funny to end the show.
It's all right, dude. I'm here for you.
All right, you ready?
Sure am, my dude.
3, 2, 1. Welcome to your weekly scoop of soccer talk presented by What the Sports. I'm Kevin Brown, and with me is probably the biggest Alexi Lalas fan you'll meet, and a pretty nonsensical Liverpool fan as well is Dylan Gersley. Dylan, hello.
Hey, Kevin. How you doing?
What's going on? A lot of stuff to talk about, Dill. On this episode of Soccer Scoop, we're going to discuss the latest in the Champions League and Europa League, talk some MLS with special guest Alex Murphy, have a recap of the Premier League, some rapid-fire stuff in segments going along with that, and let's get right into it. Blah, 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 blah. All right, Dylan. Champions League is back. And we kind of talked about this with Premier League, how it kind of sneaks up on you, even though like you're very much expecting it. And out of nowhere, it's like, what? The Champions League is on this week?
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know if you
it's
feel the same
pretty
way.
awesome. No, 100%. It definitely sneaks up on you. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the matchups are kind of meh. You know, it's just the group stage. So I'm more excited to get match week 4 or so.
Yeah, when it starts mattering.
Right.
A couple of fun results to start out the Champions League for sure. One that stood out to me, Arsenal didn't play.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome not seeing Arsenal in the competition. It's pretty awesome seeing them where they belong in the Europa League. And it's also awesome seeing English teams do pretty well after the first round of matches. Liverpool drew and everyone else won. So great stuff. And won big, too. And Liverpool should have won that game.
Very lucky deflection.
Yeah, but they had
Mohamed
a
from nowhere.
regardless, it's a good result against a good team. So I'm not, you know.
I think the biggest talking point I got from that Liverpool game was, hey, Coutinho is back on the team.
Yeah, people are gonna boost that. I'm not really concerned about it. I don't hate Coutinho. I don't have any ill will towards him. I wish he wasn't. I wish he didn't act the way he did in the summer, but I understand it. It's not easy to separate my feelings for Liverpool and kind of the rational thought of the modern soccer player, but he's a very talented, creative player, and he's special, and he's kind of unique. So bringing him back into the fold, he's always going to be welcomed, kind of like Suarez. And yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about it. He's gonna keep working hard and get himself into the 11.
Do you think he has a very successful season this year, or is his mind going to take him elsewhere? What are your thoughts?
No, I think he's gonna dive right into it because it's the World Cup year.
Very true. Looking to get in that Brazilian squad for sure.
Absolutely, into the starting 11 on there too.
Yeah, so they played Sevilla to a draw on that one. We saw some antics from the Sevilla sideline throughout the game.
Yeah,
any
I
takes on
just
what
I
went
just want to
down?
say, as a Premier League fan and as someone that watches, lots of Premier League games and almost not very many other league games, I hate the Spanish league. I hate them so much. I hate the players. I hate the coaching staffs. I hate the refs. They're all a bunch of babies. Grow up. Learn how to be physical. Learn how to take a hit. Don't cry about everything. They're the worst. They're the worst. It was the most unprofessional I've ever seen a coaching staff act. And it's disgusting.
Have you ever seen Jose Mourinho on the sideline?
Jose Mourinho is a baby, but he's one dude. At least his staff is professional. And people like to boost Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho in the last 4 or 5 years, he's had his run-ins here and there, but most of his time, specifically on the United bench, is on the bench. I feel like he's reeling in his temper a little bit.
I like all these boost terms that you're using now.
Also, let's not forget Jose Mourinho coached Madrid, which is probably the biggest babies of the bunch. Well, Barcelona might hold that title now, but
I agree with the first statement. Sergio Ramos is probably the biggest baby complaining after every foul call.
no, Barcelona are the biggest team of babies ever.
I would say a select few of them for sure. Sergio Busquets, not the name.
Iniesta, Xavi.
How are they babies?
All they do is cry to the ref.
Like Sergio Ramos?
No, like themselves because they're babies.
No, you're wrong.
Dude, you sound a little upset about it. Listen, they're both past their prime. They're not that great anymore. It's okay.
I mean, Xavi's not even on the team anymore, of course.
Exactly.
So
Barcelona's going to shit, dude. It's okay.
We talked about Madrid being babies. I think the only team that could stop them from perhaps winning the Champions League yet again is themselves. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, maybe. I think that it's just terribly hard to do a three-peat. It would kind of be unprecedented, but I will say this. If anyone can do it, it's this Madrid team with this management. Everything just seems to be going so well over there. It's kind of a nice, and I've said this multiple times.
Not off to a fantastic start.
Not off to a fantastic start, but they still haven't lost. And there's a nice sense of almost non-existent drama over there. The biggest drama they have right now is Bale. And it doesn't seem like the players and the coaching staff are getting themselves involved in that at all. So honestly,
it's not much of a drama in my opinion.
No, but it is.
Marco Asensio. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, he's very talented and very exciting.
Yeah, he is for sure. But in other Champions League news, Barcelona got their revenge over Juventus with a 3-0 result. Messi.
Important to mention, however, before Messi, is that was a pretty thoroughly second-tiered Juventus 11. A lot of injuries, suspensions, and such. Don't expect the second leg of that fixture to be as easy for Barcelona.
Yeah, especially being away in Italy.
Yeah, but Messi is a legend and still a joy to watch.
Decent player, for sure.
You know what? I think he's decent.
He can do some tricks. Quite a lad with the ball, I would
Yeah,
say.
quite.
But any other takes on the Champions League before we move on to the less appealing Europa?
No, not really. I will say that I hate Chelsea.
Yeah, that's very
Uh,
true.
beating
Morata
Carabao.
has started a lot better than I thought, but they've been playing some bad teams.
No, I think Morata was always going to do well, but continue.
Couple 3-0 results. Bayern 3-0 over. I forget who they played. Man United 3-0 over Basel. Some more exciting games. The Dortmund Tottenham game was probably the most exciting game I saw over the Tuesday Wednesday period. Dortmund, I think, were unlucky. Had some goals disallowed, like that Pulisic goal. But hey, credit Tottenham, which I hate doing. Any
Yeah,
take on that?
I think Harry Kane is probably maybe this is going to be a bold claim. I think Harry Kane's the Premier League's best player.
Okay. Oh my. He is so ugly.
That's not how that works.
He
That's has no
did not
bearing
mean
on
to
his
shoot it
skill.
from the sideline over the
Oh
weekend.
my god!
And he is not fast. He can shoot
He doesn't
the ball,
need to be
and that's
fast.
about all he can do.
Yeah, and he's got 103 goals in 170 games. That's faster than Messi, Ronaldo, Lewandowski, Thierry Henry.
I'm gonna fact check that.
Yeah, go ahead.
But hey, best in the league,
Name somebody better.
Sanchez.
No,
Coutinho.
no.
Coutinho is definitely better. Sanchez on the decline. Hazard. N'Golo
No.
Kante.
The only one that you could honestly say is better than Harry Kane is possibly Sadio Mane.
The bias finally comes out.
Okay.
Finally, we'll get to the controversy.
And you're not biased for hating
with
Harry
Sadio
Kane.
Mane
You're
against
just as
Manchester
biased.
City.
You're just as biased.
Yeah, I mean with Sanchez maybe.
No, your hate for Harry Kane is evident because he rejected Arsenal's academy because it's trash.
Now listen, my bias is very evident for sure. But saying Harry Kane is best in the league is definitely a hot take. I'll give you that. But I think it is a wrong take because he gets the ball and he shoots any chance he can get. He's a great shooter, in my opinion, clinical finisher. But what else does he have to his game?
Are you? Oh my!
Good hold-up play.
Do you watch soccer? Yeah, tell me his movement for 1 second isn't some of the most intelligent you've ever seen. He does the right thing every single time. Everything he does is the right thing. He's so perfect. He shoots both of his goals with Dortmund were with his left foot. That's his weak foot. And he scored both times.
I think he's in great form, but I think you're overhyping his ability.
Yeah, you're right. He's great. He's 103 goals in 170 games. Oh, he's just having a good day, guys. He's just, no, he's world class. That's the end of it. If he's not number one, he's top 5 without breaking a sweat.
Top 5, I can take. Top 1, you're just wrong.
No, because I'm not just wrong, because the fact that you can't make a clear choice here points to the fact that it could possibly be Harry Kane. You're just upset about it because he's 24.
No, because I think there are better teams. There are better players on even Tottenham than Harry Kane, i.e. Christian Eriksen.
No, he's not better.
Christian Eriksen sets up every chance Kane has. Dele Alli.
Not better. Not even close.
All right.
And that's not a slight to Alli.
We'll agree to disagree on this one.
No, let's make this a weekly fight.
All right, yeah, we'll come back to it for sure.
Yeah,
because I didn't like my argument too much. But moving on to Europa League talk. Everton's kind of a disaster. We kind of like them, and now they're struggling here. What's the deal?
I mean, the deal is that they had a big summer of spending, and now they're kind of waiting to see how it shakes out, waiting to see how the team gels. The onus has to be on Ronald Koeman to correct this. It's not an easy job. It's certainly a difficult task to get a bunch of new players not familiar with the system and put them out on the field and expect great, amazing results. I think it is important to remember, though, I think fans and the media are seeing the fees thrown around by ownership, and they're saying there's no way you can't be good now with these prices. That was the craziest market we ever saw this past summer. So I think you kind of have to distance yourself from the prices and just focus on kind of what the player brings and how that fits, as opposed to the money put out by the board.
I credit Koeman for trying to get a young striker and develop him up front, but there's got to be a better option. They bought Sandro from the transfer market. He's not going to be the answer.
But he doesn't have to be. He was.
They had no pace.
€5 million, so he doesn't have to be the answer.
Exactly, he's a cheap option.
And they also have Ademola Lookman. Actually, don't know if he went out on loan. They also have Calvert-Lewin. I think they have some good. They have a nice mix, and they're just pieces just have to fall into place.
Number 9 for them. He's too young and raw of a talent.
I mean, maybe that's a fair point, but I don't know. I think they're exciting. I think they just kind of have to wait it out. Maybe they have a season of adjustment, and then they go from there.
Yeah, maybe. Be interesting to see what happens. My one of my favorite teams, Athletic Bilbao, kicked off their Europa League campaign, hoping for them to pull out a good campaign. Iker Muniain captaining that squad.
Is he?
Yeah, today he did. But we'll see how they do the rest of the campaign. But I do want to talk about Arsenal and their chances in the Europa League, and for that, we will bring special guest Alex Murphy into the studio. And yeah, blah, 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 blah. Talk. And thanks, Alex, for coming on. Yeah. Okay. So, Dylan, we've talked about MLS and Europa League now. Time to get some more European talk. We've mentioned before the show, there's been some tidy teams around Europe this week. And we've mentioned Harry Kane earlier in the show. And how tidy of a start have Tottenham been? I'm pretty scared being a fellow North London fan from the Red side. And the thought of not being able to surpass them for the next few years is very scary to me.
Yeah, I think, as I said earlier, they're kind of the most well-oiled machine in the Premier League. They just kind of do everything right, and they stick to the game plan Poch has put out. So I think it's awesome, their revolution. I used to hate them with a passion, and now I kind of enjoy seeing when they rip teams to shreds.
Bandwagoner.
Probably, yeah.
Any other tidy teams of the week here?
PSG looking good with Cavani, Mbappe, and Neymar. Neat.
Yeah, what a trident that is, honestly.
Well, I could do without Cavani.
Edinson, could use him on Arsenal.
I could use him.
Sure. You need a number 9 that
you know what?
misses a bunch of chances and that a bunch of easy chances and makes the hard one.
Yeah, I think he belongs in France, where the margin for error is a little bit bigger for him.
That is very fair. I think he likes it there, but Mbappe will probably replace him, don't you think?
Oh, 100%.
I think they slot Angel Di Maria back on the right, where Mbappe has been playing. Julian Draxler has been getting some playing time. He's linked to Arsenal. They're quite a tidy team. They're very deep, and I don't know how they were able to afford so many.
They're not particularly balanced.
Yeah, financial fair play. Go after them, please. So with that, we'll go to our next segment here. Petty move of the week. What's your petty move of the week here?
Are you gonna meet me at the dining hall? Yeah. Okay, so you're going to the library and then. Yeah. Okay, word. All right, sorry, Kev. You can go again.
And with that, we'll go to our next segment, our petty move of the week, where there's been some petty ones we talked earlier in the Europa League section of the show, especially with the Sevilla coaching bench. but I'll go first here, Dylan. Mourinho's masterclass of a move to shade Mark Hughes and shake literally every assistant's hand on the bench behind him, and Mark Hughes is just confuzzled in front of him and just be like, wow, why did this guy not shake my hand? And in the presser after the game, he was asked why he didn't shake Mark Hughes' hand, and he was just utterly insulted at the question. So petty move of the week goes to Jose Mourinho, and I hate him. So
Yeah, he's a legend. He's pretty great. I'd say mine is for Berizzo, the Sevilla head coach, for some weird Spanish league antics on the side against Liverpool, throwing the ball away, delaying the game, and then crying when he got sent off. So I hate the Spanish league just so much.
culture, bro. Culture's different.
Yeah.
Not a bunch of rugby players in Spain.
Yeah, true.
On to our next segment here. Poor hygiene alert. This week, we've seen a very odd injury keep out Marco Asensio from playing in the Champions League, and it turns out it was a pimple on his leg.
Yeah, he's a weird guy. He shaved his legs. I don't know.
He couldn't roll up his socks or something.
Yeah, I don't know how that prevents that, but seems
Very
like he's an idiot. Yeah.
Yeah, so just had to alert all you listeners that, hey, Marco Asensio, he's got a big pimple, and that's poor hygiene on his part, probably. I know, and you have any takes on that?
On Marco Asensio?
On any other hygiene alerts in general, maybe?
I mean, I could probably brush my teeth more often.
Yeah, there you have it.
Floss maybe a little bit.
That's a myth. No one needs to floss.
I think so too.
Conspiracy theory. But moving on to earlier in the week, we're going to go to a little bit more of a in-depth recap here. And first, we got to start out with your team, Dylan. In the Premier League, Liverpool, the Reds got thrashed at the hands of Pep Guardiola and company at Manchester City. The early red card to Sadio Mane kind of ruined the game plan for Jurgen Klopp's team. And do you agree with the red card? Why and why not?
I don't really want to get caught up in this discussion because I feel like nobody's approaching it rationally. I will say, though, that though it is a thrashing and there's certainly some worrying signs again from our defense this season, we lost Mane, who's our most important player. And to play a team of Man City's quality with only 10 men, 5-0 seems about right. However, if you really want to discuss the Ederson-Mane clash, we can.
I think he was clearly going for the ball.
Well, all right, let's back up then. Let me paint the picture for you.
He's clearly going for the ball.
Mane is clearly going for the ball, and if you look at his face during the replay, you see his eyes are in the sky.
Yeah, but
every player on the planet, especially a player of Mane's caliber and in Mane's position, all they care about is getting the ball and scoring. Of course he's going to have his eyes on the ball. Of course he's going to stick his foot out and try to collect it. Why are we acting like goalies aren't also at fault for just running into something recklessly? They're just as at fault. The goalies are a protected species. You run out of your box to go collect the ball.
Yeah, it's a brave play, but
you're asking for trouble. You're an idiot.
It's a rule that you can't bring your foot up that high to endanger an opponent. It's just what the rules stipulate. It's been that way for a while. You can't bring your foot up and cleat someone right square in the face. That's going to be a red card any day of the week.
Yeah, I think you're looking at it in a stupid way. And I don't think you've really considered anything. Hey, remember when you played soccer? Tell me how hard that situation was. Go ahead. Tell me how hard it was.
Yeah, I probably would have got a red card. I would have not have complained.
Yeah, you would have complained.
I would have said, hey, I was looking for the ball. And the ref
you're doing something natural.
Because you hit the guy in the face.
Yeah, he put his face there. What's his face doing outside of the box?
Oh yeah, so it's Ederson's fault. He got kicked in the face.
I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm saying
Nope. That's what he said.
No, we have to
You're
ask some
wrong.
serious questions of why goalies can recklessly run out of their box, but offensive players aren't allowed to do the same.
Because
what
they're
if
not
hold
getting
on?
hit.
What if Ederson? No, we've seen this before where a goalie, Drogba passed out unconscious on a Premier League field because he got punched in the head by a goalie that ran out. That's literally the exact same. That's the exact same situation. It could go both ways. Why is only Mane punished? Why are only the attacking players punished? If
In that situation, the
if Ederson had
keeper could have
knocked
got
Mane
punished for
out,
the Drogba.
Ederson wouldn't have
But
gotten
what
anything.
did Ederson do wrong?
No, I'm not saying either of these players did anything wrong. It's not a question of right or wrong. It's not a question of did Mane deserve the red card or not. It's a question of how come goalies are automatically protected and automatically in the clear when attacking players and them go for the ball at the same time. The goalie's always given the benefit of the doubt, and that to me is ridiculous.
Not
And that's
necessarily.
the issue
true.
I
think they
have.
give away a lot of penalties.
I didn't hear what you said.
I think they give away a lot of penalty kicks from on-rushing attackers that go around the goalie.
I don't
So I
see
think
how
you're
that
wrong.
applies. No, you're definitely wrong. I've spent more time thinking about this than you have. I know more about this than you do. You're wrong, and that's fine. It's fine.
You just changed the subject. How does that make you right?
Moving on. Next topic. I can't deal with this.
Next topic is Arsenal still sucks, Dylan. If you
Moving
really
on.
want
Next topic.
to. First, I just got some Welb's takes.
Oh yeah, let's hear him. He's. I love Danny Welbeck.
Hey, I'm glad someone does because I'm not the biggest fan. I'm glad that he's fit for once in his career, but hey, he probably has the most goals out of any player in history that just bundles off like some part of his own body and off like a deflection goes in. And it's kind of crazy how proficient he is at doing that. But other than that, he misses very easy chances. And I'm worried about him playing over Sanchez. Sanchez in a contract year. Is he going to resign? Is Ozil going to sign? Reports saying that he's been like the contract negotiations have been laid off for until like February. That's very worrisome. But hey, Arsenal not in a great position here to do much else other than develop their youth, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know. I think they need to treat Europa League seriously, and I think they also need to take a serious look at their academy prospects because it doesn't seem like it's going particularly well for them in the transfer market.
Or contract negotiations with their own players. I don't know why they let all these players go through the last year of the contracts.
Yeah, that's also a fair point.
But moving right along here, big question I have to ask you, does City have what it takes to go all the way this year? Is this Pep Guardiola's season?
No.
Everyone's always talking about, hey, Jose Mourinho in his second season, he's going to create magic. But after that draw from Manchester United, shift has changed to more Pep talk.
Right, because the stupid media is reactionary. No, this is not Pep's year. In all likelihood, it's Jose's year.
Oh, God.
The
Misery.
defense for City is just, it's not good enough. And, I mean, maybe that's the perfect recipe for the Premier League, honestly, at this point, is because of how unpredictable and erratic it is. You can kind of bundle over the line with a less than optimal team. But I just don't think City are going to win. I don't see it happening. See Chelsea, I see United, see Liverpool, see Tottenham. I don't see City.
Top three finish?
Top three, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. Tottenham has figured it out. We talked a lot about them. We'll skip right over that. Let's go to other European leagues, Dylan. Now, we both admit we watch more Premier League than we do with other European leagues, but let's get some general takes out here. La Liga. We'll start in Spain. Should Madrid be worried that Barcelona is getting a head start on them?
No, I don't think so. I think it's only been a handful of games so far, and I think Madrid has shown their strength is in over the long term at this point. And Barcelona has some serious foundational issues now at the club and in their squad. And with a new coach, I don't think they pose a any more serious threat to the title than they have in the past couple runs, because I think Madrid just kind of has a monopoly on it at this point, and it's Madrid's to lose.
Yeah, they got a lot of depth in the team. That's been the main problem with other teams trying to compete with Barcelona and Real Madrid. Do you see any dark horses being able to compete with the two powerhouses? Maybe three if you throw Atletico Madrid in there. Is any dark horses going to create some havoc up in the top of the standings? We see Real Sociedad off to a great start already, undefeated.
No, I don't see any dark horses in Spain in the next 10, 20, 30 years.
Moving on to France then. Hopefully a little more parity, but unfortunately not. Do you think Monaco could rival PSG in any way?
Oh, 100%. I think discounting Monaco is dumb. They lost a lot of key players, but they have a lot of depth, and they actually kept a good core of guys, and they brought in some exciting players. Keita from Lazio, Jovetic, Yuri Tielemans, the really promising Belgian talent. So there's a lot there. They kept a lot of defenders. Sidibe, noticeable Fabinho, Glick, and Hemerson all stayed. Subasic, their goalie. So there's a lot there, and I think they're going to push PSG until the end. I think Monaco even has a shot at winning it. I don't think it's PSG's to lose by any stretch. I think it is a two horse race.
Yeah, Yuri Tielemans, one of my favorite players, scored in his Champions League debut with Monaco to save the point for them in their opening game. I think they're in good shape too. I would say PSG is probably going to run away with it, though, towards the end of the season. They just had way too much firepower. They spent an exorbitant amount of money to win that league handily, I think, by maybe April. I would say they secure it. But moving on to Italy, Serie A. Now, in the preseason, we praised Milan's good transfer policies, buying some good defenders, good players overall, signing their good young keeper as well to a contract extension. But hey, hasn't gone off to a great start. They just lost 4-1 against Lazio.
And won 5-1 today. I actually forget who they played. I think it was a Portuguese side, but regardless, they won in the Europa League today, 5-1, I think.
All right, so bounce back. Have they bounced back fully, and do you think they can challenge more into the Serie A?
Yeah, well, I think kind of expecting anything from Milan was a bit premature. I think we got a little sentimental and nostalgic of when they were one of Europe's mightiest, when we saw them making moves in the coaching, in the ownership, and in the general transfer policy. So I think they have a couple things to figure out still, and I don't know. I don't think anyone can really draw a strong conclusion. I think they're in a similar boat to Everton, actually. I think that's a good analogy.
I think Everton's in a little worse place. I haven't seen Milan play as much as I have.
No, I think Serie A is a little bit more open than the Premier League, but I'm just likening it to the fact that Everton brought in a lot, and it kind of shot up expectations with new ownership, new wealthy ownership, and that's similar to what's going on in Milan. It doesn't, just because you sink hundreds of millions into a club doesn't mean it's automatically on the up and up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And other than that, in the league, there hasn't been really any more real surprises. Juventus leading the league in points, in goal differential and whatnot. And I think they can run away with it again if Inter and Milan don't get their act together. I think Inter are playing very well to start the season. But other than those two teams, Lazio and Napoli, I don't think have what it takes to challenge long term.
Oh, Napoli have what it takes, 100%.
They had a bad loss in the Champions League just gave me a sour taste of their whole lineup.
No, I
Yes,
think
yes.
they're really good.
We'll see. I think another team that's very good is Borussia Dortmund, and I think this is the year that I think they can give Bayern a run for their money, like they usually do. But even more so this year, they got off to a very good start, and they're going to prove people wrong that hey, Ousmane Dembele, although a loss, he's not a big loss. He's not like a huge part of that team. I think Pulisic jumps right in there and performs very well for that team.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't think Pulisic is quite mature enough to handle that type of pressure, and we've already kind of seen that he's been thrown into every game Dortmund has had so far, which is great from the standpoint of seeing him as a precocious talent, but he still needs some time to get his professional legs under him and find some consistency. He's a kid at the end of the day, so I think this is a little dangerous for U.S. soccer and for Christian himself.
They do have talented players around him, though. Shinji Kagawa, Mario Götze, still got Aubameyang. Thought he was going to get sold. So I think they have a pretty deep squad as well, but Bayern, they're a very good team. Do you think they're on the decline at all? Because no one's really been talking about them. They're kind of sneaking up on.
I don't think they're on the decline. I just think that Ancelotti was a bad appointment and he's handling the team poorly.
That would point to a decline, in my opinion.
It's not a decline. The players aren't getting any worse. It just seems like there's a little bit of drama and a little bit of haphazard management.
Yeah, I can agree with that. So to end the show, we're going to do a little bit of a fun segment for the first time here and pick our own cast of Premier League players on really our favorite show, Dylan. A show that started out in England called The Office, and the remake has been an American classic. So, Dylan, I'll start with you. Main character of The Office is Michael Scott. Who is your Premier League Michael Scott?
Jose Mourinho. Yes. He is so polarizing, just like Michael Scott. He is, at the end of the day, an entertainer to his core and says a lot of things that pretty much everyone disagrees with. Cringeworthy, Jose Mourinho and Michael Scott.
But Michael is definitely more beloved, I would say.
Oh, yeah, by the end.
I have. My Michael Scott is Alexis Sanchez. Michael Scott's best character on the show, the main lead. Alexis Sanchez, best player in the league, and very polarizing as well, I would say. But Sanchez is in a dip of form and dip of likability. I would say season 1, Michael Scott is Alexis Sanchez. That
was probably the most embarrassing pick you could have chosen for Michael Scott. That was bad.
Season 1 Michael Scott, mind you.
Nah. You've sullied Michael Scott's name with that. I think Pam, lovely receptionist Pam, is the Dr. Mourinho fired.
Yeah, let me hear your reasoning.
Well, I just, Pam's kind of, at the end of the day, Pam's a really weak character. And yeah, seems like the Dr. Mourinho fired fits that bill pretty nicely.
For Pam, I was trying to think of a player that didn't really do much on a very good and winning team. And I was trying to say, I wanted to pick someone along the lines of like Bakary Sagna on Man City or Arsenal his days there, but he's not in the league anymore. And Branislav Ivanovic would have been a good selection.
Tom Cleverley.
Oh, Tom Cleverley he does not do much at all. Or yeah, I like that. Maybe like Gareth Barry. But yeah, someone who does not do much and on a winning team. So that's my Pam selection.
Speaking of Pam, moving on to Roy, first fiance ever. Roy is Marwan Fellaini.
Oof.
Because I hate him, just like Roy. Delaney can't annoy me more with his ugly ass hair, his flying elbows, and his dirty play.
Not many fans like Roy, the ex-boyfriend of Pam, who is meant to be with Jim. And I think that's good selection. I support that. But let's go on to Creed. My Creed is Jurgen Klopp, absolute wild card in the league. You have a good Creed, I see, lined up. But I think Jurgen Klopp is just a classic Creed Bratton.
I think that's actually a pretty good pick. My Creed pick is Slaven Bilic because I think Slaven Bilic is just kind of a weirdo. And it's always funny when at the presser, the journalists really kind of dig into him and he's like, oh, it is so. And it's just like, dude, that wasn't helpful at all. But yeah, so that's my Creed, Slaven Bilic.
Let's move right along to Kevin. That is my name, but Kevin on the show, pretty hefty guy. So hefty player.
Sam Allardyce.
Hefty manager for sure, Sam Allardyce. But I picked Charlie Adam because he's still chugging along in his Stoke, and he can shoot from half field because he can't run. So that's my Kevin.
Yeah, no, I think Sam Allardyce fits the bill as well because he's just a fat, gross guy who's not particularly good at his job, but still finds a way to stick around.
Yeah, very unqualified Kevin was for the office. Sam Allardyce, not very qualified to be a manager. Good selections there again on Dylan. But hey, Toby, you have a good Toby? Because guess what I do? Jose Mourinho, my least favorite person in the world of soccer. Toby, the least favorite person in the office. And Toby Flenderson is my Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, I put Man United because I just hate them so much. So that's my Toby.
Yeah, that's all the selections I got. How many more you have?
That's all, really, all the ones I like at least.
Yeah, we really couldn't think of any Jim's kind of like a jokester character.
Oscar, Dwight.
Oscar and Dwight, too flamboyant, and then
Stanley.
very funny. Stanley, more of a angry kind of customer. So if we put more thought into it, maybe we'll do Office Part 2 in the cast next week. Stay tuned for that. Other than that, that's the end of the show. Thanks for listening to Soccer Scoop Podcast. Fun having Dylan Gertzley alongside me, Kevin Brown, and our special guest, Alex Murphy, was on today. So thanks for listening.